I'm Dave Laven, and this is my brother Mike Laven, and welcome to the Vermont Real Estate Cast. We are local realtors here in Northwest Vermont, and each cast we share what's going on in the market, answer common questions, and showcase technology and tools and resources that our clients are using to gain an edge on this market. We hope you enjoy this show. Don't forget to show your love by liking and subscribing, and if you have any questions or want to reach out to us for anything that you hear in this show or any questions you have real estate related, you can always just text us at the number below on the screen. So let's get started. Mike, can you give us a quick snapshot of what's going on in the market?
Absolutely, I can. And when we talk about the market here, we're going to talk about what's known as the greater Burlington metropolitan area, which, if you don't know, includes Chittenden County, Grand Isle County, and Franklin County. And we're going to look just at the single family and condo townhome market sort of as one group. I think it's sort of the best gauge for looking at property sales right now. Mm-hmm. So within the criteria I just described, we're going to look at the last 3 months. And in the last 3 months, within those numbers, there was 590 sales. The average days on market until it sold was 36 days. The average price was $447,000. And the average sold to list ratio, which is a comparison of where the properties were selling compared to where the listing price was plus 1.4%. So those properties were selling on average for about 1.5% over the asking price. And if we compare that now, take those same 3 months and compare them to the 3 months 1 year before that, with the same exact numbers and same area, we had 659 sales. The days on market was longer. It was 44. The average price was $380,000. And the average sold to list ratio was just about the same. It was a fractional percentage, but they were basically selling at the asking price.
Wow. So it's still a really strong, tight market in terms of trying to buy. Would you say this is
Definitely
a strong seller's market? Is that where we're at right now?
Yeah, it's an extraordinarily strong seller's market right now, like we've almost never seen before.
Yeah, and are there any towns that seem to be like super hot where it's really competitive? I mean, if you're watching this, you're not local here, you don't really know what's going on in the market. You know, where should people expect to see sort of the hardest market to get into where it's going to be competitive?
Yeah, I mean, there's basically a lot of the markets here are very competitive. So picking out one that sort of stands out from the crowd is a little bit difficult. But I mean, the one that's standing out to me right now is South Burlington. If you look at the last 6 months in South Burlington, the average sale price has been $435,000. And if you look at that same 6 months, 1 year before that, it was only $398,000. So you've seen almost a 10%, like 9 point something percent increase year over year. South Burlington's had a lot of new construction projects that have finished over the last year and have started to come to market. That's probably, that with the other market conditions we're seeing, is probably leading to that nice increase in price there.
Yeah, sure. And I don't think this is going to slow down because, I mean, I just thinking about all the people that we're talking with that are trying to buy in those markets and it's low so inventory. Yeah, so I think those prices are just going to continue to push and be pretty strong. Now, are there any opportunities, like if you go further out, where maybe you can be a little bit less competitive if someone's willing to do that?
I mean, that's basically what you just described about going further out. If you're someone looking to buy and, you're looking at these towns that are close to Burlington, you're seeing such a low inventory and these really competitive, multi-offer situations, that's just driving the price up. If you've got more flexibility and where you can live as far as like commuting time and driving time, if you can live a little bit further out, I'm talking like maybe 20 to 30 miles, you might have a lot more opportunities as far as the properties that are available and as far as the competition level too.
Yep. That sounds reasonable if you can do it and you're willing to commute in the snow, but for some people that's just not going to work.
Right.
So.
It's not for everybody, of course, but it depends on what you're looking for.
Absolutely. Sure. All right. Well, that wraps up our quick market snapshot of what's going on. If anybody has a question out there about what's really going on in their local market, just shoot us a text on the screen. We'll be happy to reach out and give you a better idea of what's going on in your specific area. Mike, so have we been getting any sort of common questions? There's questions depending on what kind of market you're in. Every cycle we tend to see a lot of people asking the same question. Is there something that people have been hitting you up with that maybe I can help answer?
I mean, yeah, we get a lot of questions, but the one I get right now, because I speak to a lot of people who are thinking about selling their home, and they've seen the prices that are out there. They've seen what their neighbors' homes have been selling for, and they're thinking about selling their home. But their biggest concern, the question I always get, is how am I going to find another home in this market, and how am I going to facilitate selling this home and then being able to find another one in time and make an offer and get it accepted and get into my home? How is that going to work in this market is the question I always work.
All right, so there's a couple strategies that we're seeing people use that are doing well at this. So they're not stuck out or,
Sure.
or have to end up renting a property for a while in the meantime. One, if they have a large enough equity position and they're downsizing, usually is when this works best. Doing a cash out refi, right? Using that cash to close on the next home, making the transition, and then putting their home on the market, paying off the cash refi, and then going back and getting a mortgage on their current property, right? So you're trying to avoid that issue of carrying too much in terms of loans, even for a short period of time. The other one that's pretty common is a lot of people are doing it. It's a little trickier, but it can be done, and it is done all the time in this market, is making your home subject to you finding suitable housing, right? So you'll see that if you're online looking at listings, you'll sometimes see that in the description that if
Very common.
right? So someone makes an offer on your house, you get it under contract. They've agreed that in order for the contract to be valid, you have a X number of days to go out and find your next property. The advantage to that is when you go out and find your next property, you're able to give the confidence to that homeowner that, hey, you don't have to worry about us getting our house on the market and getting it sold. It's already sold. It's under contract.
Yeah.
All the inspections are done. The mortgage is lined up. Everything's ready to go. And as soon as, you guys are ready to close, we can close this one and come in and move there. And usually you do pretty well. You don't end up having to sleep on any couches or anything like that. And then the final one that, for certain people in certain scenarios is using sort of an iBuyer. We have an iBuyer that we work with, which is a institutional investor, and the way they work is they will buy your property in cash, let you lease it back for as long as you need to, and then when you move out, they sell it, but they allow you to sort of keep the upside in the sale. You just end up paying a little extra on top of your traditional broker fees, and for some people, that's a great option. And most of the homes in the Burlington area, as long as they're not multifamilies, or mobile homes, but single families and condos will qualify for that option. So that's the three suggestions I would give. Obviously, every situation's unique. So, they can always reach out to us if you're trying to figure this out. You say, man, this market's amazing. I've made a ton of money in my home, and this is the one thing in the way of me selling and taking advantage and cashing out. Then we can look at it and sort of give you a better idea of what might work best for you, because every person's situation is different. So I hope that answers that
Absolutely.
question, Mike. The only other thing I wanted to cover real quick before we wrap up this episode is I want to try to make it a part of each episode that we showcase, a tool or a piece of technology or a book or something that could be really valuable to someone that just wants to get more educated on the market. What's something that you think I should share with them? One of the things that we see people using that they're really finding value in.
I mean, the product that we're seeing our sellers and, real estate owners have the most success and most interest in is the home tracker service for sure.
Oh yeah, that's sweet.
I mean, you think about owning a home, right? It's probably the biggest investment you've had in your lifetime. I know it is. My home is my biggest investment I've ever made, right? And it's like you kind of want to watch it all the time. Like you don't want to be sitting there maybe trying to dig up information every day, but you would like to know what's happening throughout, on a day-to-day, weekly basis, so that you're, kept update as far as what's happening in the market that would affect your home, right?
Right. Yeah, it's really sweet because it's not like a broad thing like going on and looking at a Zestimate or something. We're actually also, you're getting values pulled in from multiple sources. You're being told anytime a property sells that might impact the price, and you can actually see that property and see how it compares to yours. So you know what's going on in the market. You start seeing things dropping in price, you can say, oh my God. And it's also going to break that all down and give you a trend, let you know where we are in terms of the seller's market, the local market. And it's also going to help you track your equity, because it can go and pull data where it's finding out what your mortgage is and everything else. And it shows you
super valuable tool.
Right. Where's your equity position? Not only how much can you sell your home for right now, but where's your equity position? Would it make sense to keep the house and rent it out? Would it make sense to turn it into an Airbnb? It's also pulling the data in terms of, what those rental rates are. And that's another way you can value your property, because you can value it as an investment. What's the cap rate on it? And that can really help you in terms of like making a decision as to if you should even ever sell, because it's a hot market. Maybe you rent it out and you keep it forever. Maybe that's what works best for your financial situation. So that's a sweet.
I mean, our clients that use this are just blown away by how thorough it is and what it provides. It's just amazing.
Yeah, it really is. It really is an awesome tool. I'm glad you brought that up, and hopefully the viewers out there watching this will want to check it out. I know we've got a couple hundred people sort of beta testing it right now, and they all love it. So if anybody out there wants to jump in and use our home tracker service, we'd love you to use it. Give us feedback. Let us know if there's things we can improve. But we think you'll find it really valuable. Just shoot your property address to the number below, and we'll get you set up. It usually takes about a day, and then you're good to go, and you're going to know. And we're also watching it too. So if we see something that is going to impact the price, we'll go in and make a note for you, and you'll see it in the system when you log in and understand that something significant has happened that might affect your property's value. Well, I think we've covered a lot in this episode. I don't want to drag on forever. We're at about 10 minutes here. Stay tuned. Subscribe, make sure that you come back and visit, because we're going to continue to update you on the market. We're going to continue to share tools and technology and try to answer questions that you have and be a good, valuable resource for you here in Northwest Vermont. I'm Dave Laven, and this is my brother,
Mike Laven.
And we are the Laven Team, and thank you for watching the Vermont Real Estate Cast.